I see an athlete come into my office, I try to get them to buy into what their diagnosis is and try to get them to understand that I'm there not to keep them out of the sport, but to get them back as soon as possible. I'm on their side. So as a former athlete, I can relate not only to the obvious part, and that's the injury, but the very complicated aspects of the athlete's pain, the pressures they may be undergoing, the need to get back and be competitive, because these kids are under a tremendous amount of pressure to get back out and play.
You know, I've tried to really emphasize playing defense, because if you could stop people, you're going to have a chance to win a lot of games. And I've also stressed teamwork and chemistry and just playing hard and competing, just being really tough, getting to a point in a game where, you know, maybe the teams are going to quit. They've had enough of our defense. They've had enough of how hard we play. They've had enough of how well we talk and how fundamentally sound we are. So to me, it's not about having the superstar. It's about having a total team concept. And really, I've tried to look at teams like Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Badgers. They've went to Final Fours when they've only had maybe one professional athlete on the team, no McDonald's All-Americans. The Patriots with Bill Belichick is a good example. On their Super Bowl winning teams, they've won 4 Super Bowls. I think they've only averaged about 2.5 Pro Bowlers, when some teams who didn't make the playoffs have 6 or 7. So it's really about that team concept and playing defense. And I think those have been some of the keys to our success here at Sturgis. It's going to be tough to replace a 16, 17 point scorer, but I'm excited. I think this year we're going to have maybe as much balance as we've ever had. I think we're going to put together a team that is capable of putting 4 guys on any given night in the double-digit column. So I think our strength is going to be our balance. And certainly our size. Certainly we're blessed to have 6'10" Ryan Schuler, a recent Division II signee. Matt Polson is an up-and-comer and should blossom into one of the better forwards in the Wolverine Conference. And he's near 6'5". So that's going to be the strength of our team. But also I'm excited about our guard play. I think Tristan Stewart is going to have a breakout year. He's worked hard. He's gotten bigger and stronger and faster. He's going to assume more of a leadership role and more of a scoring role. I think I see him near double figures. I think he could score near 10 points a game. Liam Adams certainly is another player from last year's team who will continue to improve. He's a guy that could score close to 10 points a game. And the other newcomer, I think, is Brandon Wenzel. I think he has the potential to score upwards of 10 points a game. So I really think we're going to be balanced, and we're going to have that really tough inside-outside combination. So I'm looking forward to see how it all plays out. But certainly we will miss the contributions of Jack SCHESKE, as well as Andrew Airgood, who also provided not only his shooting, but he was really unselfish, and he knew all the plays and the nuances, and really was a nice team player. So we're certainly going to miss those 2 starters from last year's team. We have kind of switched alignments. We're going to be, I hate to say this, but I think now we're going to be on the tougher side of the division. We're leaving the Otsego and Plainwell side and Allegan side because of geographics and travel distance. We now are going to be competing and playing teams twice a year in our division. The likes of Dowagiac, who clearly I think will be a favorite. They won their division last year, lost to Otsego in the crossover matchup, but I think they returned 4 starters, and they're a supremely talented and athletic team. Edwardsburg is always going to be a tough out as long as Dante Rosano is in the lineup. So those 2 teams right there, coupled with a tough Pawpaw team, they're always going to compete. They have a very good coach, and they have some players back. As well as I think South Haven is also in our division. So I think we're joining a tougher division, and I think it is wide open, as the question was posed to me, Brett. I think on any given night we're going to beat each other up. There's going to be no gimmies. Edwardsburg, Dowagiac, Pawpaw, South Haven. There's going to be a lot of parity, a lot of good games, and I think most games are going to come down to a few possessions this year. due to my competitive spirit, I'm not going to say I'm 100% upset or sad or disappointed, but it is on some levels a little troublesome and a little bothersome. It's that great paradox, as you had said. We came from a conference, an A-class conference, to then postseason play is the B structure, B level, and now it's flip-flop. It's a little bothersome, but again, I come from Indiana where they had for years a one-class system, so I'm not going to say I'm going to be a newcomer to this. You know, from my Indiana coaching days, we have competed against schools, the schools I were at, the Catholic schools, that were very small, and we've competed against schools that were twice our size. So, you know, it's going to be a challenge, that's for sure. We're going to be competing against the likes of Kalamazoo schools and Battle Creek schools and some other tough schools, large schools. But hey, our guys have to work that much harder, have to compete that much harder, have to concentrate that much harder. There's going to be a lot at stake in the postseason. We're hosting the district this year at Sturgis, so that's one positive. But again, it's certainly going to be a lot tougher task to beat the field that we're going to face this year in a Class A district matchup than certainly it would have been this year playing a Class B, than playing Class B opponents.